Hello everyone and welcome to another lecture of JavaScript. In this lecture we'll learn how to create objects and what objects are. So JavaScript has a way or another way to store data, such as we learned with arrays, with objects. So you can use objects to store data, or you can use objects as well to create reusable structures, code structures. Okay, so basically with objects you can store a lot of different properties, values. You can store functions in it, arrays, and even other objects. You also should know that objects are used in other programming languages, not only in JavaScript. So once you learn how to use this in JavaScript, you'll also have the knowledge and the concept how to use them in other programming languages as well, okay? So let's start with a simple object creation. Now, to create a JavaScript objects, the rules are very, very similar as to creating variables or functions. There are two ways you can create a JavaScript object, either with an object constructor or with the object literal notation. So I'm going to show you the both ways. Let's start with the object constructor. As we do with a new array, we just have to create a variable, and let's call this variable dwarf. This is going to be equal to new object. Okay, so this is the constructor, pretty similar as we used with new array. And now we have created an object, but we don't have anything, or the object doesn't have any properties at all. So let's say in this case the dwarf is a character in the game with strength and armor and abilities. So let's say we have, or let's say we want to give those three properties to the dwarf. We just have to type dwarf dot, and now the property is going to be called, the first property would be, let's say, strength. And now let's assign it a value. So property strength will have a value from 1 to 10. Let's give it a 7. Now let's assign, or let's give another property to this object, armor equals to let's say a 5 or a 8. And finally, let's give it a attack. Let's give it a property of attack with value 7 or 6. Okay. So now we have created object dwarf, and object dwarf has three properties: strength, armor, and attack. Okay. Each of those properties have values or different values. Okay. Now, to show all these properties, what we can do now is create a function. The function will be another property of the object. Okay, so to do that, just type dwarf dot, and then you can type show properties, and then equal, and now you type function, so you can give it a function to this as a value to this object property. Okay, and now you just create a function with document dot write, and inside the document write, let's type hero then you can type plus, and then dwarf dot strength. I have to put here strength hero strength here, and then plus, and let's give it a line break. And now down here we can type as well hero strength, hero armor, plus, and this is dwarf dot armor, and a line break as well. And now let's create hero attack. And now we type dwarf, the property dwarf attack plus line break. Let's save this. Now, if you run this, nothing will happen because you have to call the function or the property show properties. And to do that, you just go here, and I forgot to put a semicolon here. Down here, we type dwarf. Oops. Okay, dwarf show properties and semicolon. Save this. Let's run this. Nothing will show at the web page because I forgot to put here the plus symbols. Okay, so make sure you put plus here and here. And now if you run this, there it is. Okay, hero strength 7, hero armor 8, and hero attack 6. Okay, you can even give it a space here. Yeah, and that's, now it's correct. Okay, so this is how we create an object using the constructor. Now I'm going to show you basically the same thing using the literal notation, okay, which is pretty, it's a little bit easier and faster with less code. The only difference is that you don't need this here. Just need to create var dwarf and then curly brackets. Now you just have to close down here the curly bracket here, and you can take the name dwarf from here. You only need to put the name of the property. Okay. So it's a little bit simpler and much faster to do it with the literal notation. I almost forgot, you also need to change, instead of semicolon, you just put a comma here, okay? And that's it. Let's save this. And this semicolon, I put it here, but we don't need that at all. So a closing curly bracket for a function doesn't need the semicolon. So let's run this. Interesting. Instead of the equal symbol, you need to put some colon here. Okay? And here as well. And now you are ready to go. Okay, let's see if this works. And there it is. Perfect. It works perfectly. And I'm going to show you just a last thing. You can also take this document right, copy it, and put it here. And let's take this function out. And let's save this. Now, if you try to run this code like this, it will work anyways, okay? So using the literal notation, you can basically, instead of creating a function property inside the object, you can create or you can just type document right and then use the properties outside the document, the object, sorry. Okay guys, so I think using the literal notation, it's a little simpler and faster than using the constructor, okay? So it's up to you, how do you want to use it, and see you guys later. Bye.